Hello and welcome to the second session of Hearts of Wulin Court of Shadows. And this is a Hearts of Wulin game, which is a game of wuxia romance drama drawn primarily from Chinese drama TV shows. And we're in a golden age of those. They can be found on Amazon. There are a couple right now, Rise of Phoenixes and The Untamed and Handsome Siblings that are on Netflix. They're all pretty amazing. We are playing a particular variant set of mechanics that add in some courtly drama options for our PCs. That is kind of the backdrop that we are operating in. Last time we set up our court, we established that there is a regent, Aunt Yu, who oversees the court. Our PC, who is the heir, is out for this session, but we'll be back for session 3 and 4. They are probably in their, they have a shadow identity, so that character may be in play. But that is on the table. We know about them that there's some butting of heads between them and Aunt Yu. We know that they have at least one sibling, a younger sibling named Huo, and may have more. That's certainly on the table. I'm going to go over a few other basic things about the setup, and then I'll have our two returning characters introduce themselves, and then we'll talk with our two new characters about what they're thinking about just in general, because we're bringing people kind of in second session. They'll be able to do whatever they want on the fly as they wish. This is a game that deals with a foreign culture, deals with Chinese culture. So I ask that we be respectful of that, just remind about those things. We have a set of safety tools that are on the table. In particular, we have a tab that has our lines and veils, which anyone, Scott, Walter, or Richard, Stephen, you can add to that as you need to. Right now we have a hard line on childhood abandonment, harm to children, and sexual assault, meaning that's off the table. And we have a fall to veil, fade to back on harm to animals, racism, sexual content, suicide, or torture. To supplement that, we use the X card to back that up, to support that if anything isn't caught by that. So you know, I've played with both of you before, so you know about that system. So those things are kind of in play. Last time we got set up, and we played a little bit. There were some assassins that were on the grounds, and our foreigner knew at least one of them. And there was some weirdness that went on with the potential love of our tutor, our scribe, and also ran into his master there. So there was some interesting weirdness that some of it may get played up on tonight, but we may be throwing some new things into play. Let me then say, oh God, hey, I'm Lowell Francis. I'm the community manager for the Gauntlet gaming community, and this session's part of the Gauntlet Hangouts, pronouns he, him. We do a lot of games. We've got 100 or so on the calendar for next month. I know we've got close to that this month. And if you're curious about this and you're like, boy, I'd like to play some story or indie games online, and I want to find a good, safe place to do that, find us at gauntlet-rpg.com, and you can get the details there on how that all works. Richard, let's have you give us the elevator pitch on your character. Who are they?
Well, Heng is a low-born calligrapher who kind of rose to his position through the public service examinations, and he is a seeker of perfection. He is dedicated to finding the ideal ideogram, and that kind of drives his martial school. And he has an unrequited love for the wife of his former teacher and now rival, who is Yahui. And he is in the court to teach the art of calligraphy to the court's younger folk. You're on mute, lol.
Take a drink. So your purpose, your goal is to rise to the office that your former master currently occupies, correct?
Yes, yes.
Okay.
And I'll adjust as that.
Excellent. Yeah. And when we go through, what we might want to do is, if you want to come up with an alternate entanglement tonight for your investment with Wei, that is a possibility. Although we can have Wei as an NPC, you can figure out how you want to do that.
Yeah, we'll see how it goes.
Yeah. Let's come to Min. Stephen, tell us about Min.
Hi, my name's Steven. I use the he, him pronouns, and I'll be playing Min, who uses the she, her pronouns. Min is a servant using the unorthodox playbook. And she got her job in the court from, she has a family out in the village, and she got her job to serve, but unbeknownst to many others, Zihao from the village has given her training in secret, and this allowed her to work her way up as a guard, and in disguise as the male guard, and his name is down below somewhere.
Zen,
thank you. And signature weapon is chopsticks. And I think that's it.
Okay. And what would you say is your purpose, is your goal here in the court?
My goal here is to uplift my family. My sister Jin is also working here as a servant, but doesn't know about my dual role.
Excellent. So those are our two returning characters. Scott, I had sent you some of this stuff earlier today, so you've had a little bit chance to look at this. What are you thinking about for your character?
Okay, just first, I'm Scott, and I use he, him pronouns.
Okay.
I was looking at the Bravo playbook with the obviously the princeling role. I went ahead and had created some of her. And where's the backstory? I got to scroll up. So some of these just have like insert name here because I didn't know how I wanted to be related to other people first, because I didn't know everybody else's story. So there's going to be a couple of insert names here, and people can throw out an NPC that was mentioned, or I'll just add somebody later when the time comes. Tu's family's been at court so long that only a few know exactly how long. They just are. Tu has perfected the arts of blending in and listening, skills she learned directly from, insert name here, one of the country's one of the courtly ministers. My mother, insert name here, planted me in his care as a spy. However, I have kept her in the dark.
We have some names on the court, our court tab that have some NPCs.
Can I suggest just as one option? So I have chosen loyal advisor for my still in the works character. So possibly I would be an option for a courtly minister.
That's not a bad idea. Yeah,
that's a great idea.
And I am getting a little bit of echo, I think, though.
That's me. I probably have my volume up too high. I don't
Okay.
use the earphones. Let me turn my volume down.
Sorry. And you've learned a martial style. And what do you imagine that style looks like?
Well, I fight with the style of the dancing wind. I wield two knives, and as I move about, it's as if the wind was dancing around you in a flurry of beauty and grace.
And what element do you think that would be? We have our 5 elements are our stats. And whichever element you choose to associate with your fighting style, that's the one you'll roll when you fight. For almost everything else, you'll choose which stat you roll with when you go to roll something. Do you think it's a water style or
metal?
Or what? Metal? That sounds control, calculation, reflection. That makes sense. And we will let's look at your roll move. You can manipulate courtly gossip.
Yes.
Which is nice. And then what did you choose for your 2 playbook moves?
So the playbook had like things already in red, and I didn't know if those were ones that I should just pick, so I just did.
Okay.
And they sounded fine to me. The first one was love. Actually, I'm sorry, Invincible 8. I have a group of 8 skilled agents at my disposal. And since my mom has planted me as a spy, I imagine that these will be some kinds of spies, possibly working as staff, the very unnoticeable servants. And then love on delivery. When I attempt to manipulate the affections of an NPC towards another something.
Okay. Excellent. Those are 2 good ones. Yeah. The ones marked in red are the ones that are new to the courtly thing. So that was a decent choice. All right. That gives us some things to work with. I imagine that there are noble families that have been, they're distant parts of the royal line. You come from one of those families, and that's how you've come to court and been assigned. Okay.
Yep.
That makes sense. All right. Then let us come to Walter. Walter, the only thing is I notice you've got the name Ho there, which is the name already of one of the NPCs. So that'd be the only thing I'd ask, that you might want to change that. And for everybody at home, Walter got thrown into this like literally 15 minutes ago. So I am very, very sorry for the short run on that. You're muted.
Hello, I'm on mute. Okay, not anymore. All right. Hi. So yeah, I'm going to be discovering my character as I tell it to you. I'm kind of just like picking random options, and I'll put it together while we play.
Sure.
So I am a loyal advisor named Zemin. Zemin has burning eyes, a stern grin, a well-kept beard, and an intricately patterned outfit. The story is completely blank right now,
Yeah.
but I'm totally open to suggestions at any point.
Yeah, and feel free to set your stats, set your moves as we play along, make those choices as we go. That is absolutely cool. So do you imagine him as an older person, a younger person who's
I'm
made
kind of
good?
imagining like middle-aged. I'm thinking, not like brand new, but maybe not, kind of working his way up the ranks.
Okay. So a middle rank advisor. What and has some martial training.
Yes.
What are you imagining for that? Is he classic a sword? Is it?
He's a spear and shield.
Okay.
And his style is Spirit of the Sun, and his chosen element is fire. Actually, given all of those things, I think his shield is polished like a mirror, and it reflects light.
And so the classic Chinese spear in the wuxia movies is the straight, simple point, that sort of red feathery tie around the end of it for that. Do you imagine that that this is a character who is more ambitious or more philanthropic, or what do you think?
Yeah, I'm thinking that Zemin is very ambitious, but also very loyal, and probably to a fault. That's how I see him. So that's like, I think maybe one of his conflicts is his ambition and loyalty potentially.
Sure. And certainly we have that our court tab, and that has some NPCs that are established in the court as big power players. We've seen one of them so far. Do you imagine that right now there's kind of a tension in the court because we've got the heir who is coming of age soon, this young man.
Okay, and the heir is not two, that's somebody else. The heir was you?
The heir is
or Uo.
Let me get this here. He is
Wei.
Wei. Thank you.
Wei.
Yeah.
Okay.
The character who's not here tonight.
Oh, the other. Oh, okay. Okay. Got it.
Yeah.
Cool.
So Wei is reaching the age when he might start to move up. The person who's actually managing the court, technically the Empress, is the regent. Aunt Yu, the regent Yu. She clearly thinks that when Wei comes of age, that she will have a position as the power behind the throne. That's the sort of the dynamic that's going on in the court. But she's got quite a bit of power there, and most of her power comes from scheming and meddling throughout. So that's the big thing.
Okay.
Some things that are on the table in terms of threats for the court, just to both of you to keep in mind: barbarian hordes. There's factional fighting, meaning that there's lots of fighting between the various factions within the wuxia, within the Wulin world. And we've also got a neighboring nation that is threatening war. So those are kinds of things that are hanging in the background. Well, that gives us enough. And anything else you can figure out as we go along? What is your role move as an advisor?
Good question. I haven't read that yet. Let's find out.
Let's go look.
So my role move, let's see. I took my two optional moves. I just chose the top two so we can keep things moving. My role move is I'm a trusted officer, courier, or appointee. You've learned to navigate the palace well. When you try to gain access to a protected person, location, or item, roll. On a hit, you make your way in. I can do it. Let's see. If I succeed, it's quietly, impressively, or without fuss. Let's see. Or there could be a complication.
Or
the complications would be a rival's already there. My time is cut short. Word of your violation leaks out in the worst light. Okay, cool. So I can go places. That's my move. Nice.
Excellent. Well, what we're going to do now is the big engine that drives things in the GIS game are the entanglements. Everybody has a romantic entanglement and a general entanglement. Entanglements are triangles, meaning that basically it looks like this. It means you have a relationship with one person, connection with one person, and that's complicated by another person. So that's how that triangle works there. The romantic one involves loves. Love can be unrequited. It can be your love for them. It can be shared love. It can be just strong feelings of friendship and brotherhood. It's up to you how you want to work with that. What we're going to do is we're going to check in with our existing PCs. We're going to check in on them, on their entanglements. And then when we come to you, Scott, Walter, you'll pick one of your two to do. And there's some examples of those on the CC3 entanglements tab, because there aren't enough tabs on this sheet. And they give examples for each of the different playbooks that you may want to draw on, but there are additional ones, a big list of those down below. So let's start with Hang. Are you good with your romantic entanglement? Remind us of what it is and tell us if you're still good with it.
Yeah, I'm still good with the romantic entanglement. It's my unrequited love for Shun, the much younger wife of my former master Yahui.
Excellent, excellent. And I put a picture of both of those NPCs on the images tab there for you.
Okay.
Min, let's come to you. You've got a romantic entanglement with Wei. Do you want to put something else on the table tonight in its place, or are you good? How do you want to do that?
Yeah, so probably I went through and I looked and I kind of have entanglements here for the 2 PCs that we have tonight as opposed
Sure.
to the other 2 PCs. But I kind of see them as, you know, still being present. So my romantic entanglement is Wei is far above me in social status, and Aunt Yu will be furious if they even suspect a connection.
Okay.
I replaced that, or in addition, I owe Zemin everything, but despite that, my heart belongs to Wei.
Oh, interesting.
And I imagine in this case, if it's okay, that Zemin might be the way that I came into the court. I got my original job, which is why I owe him everything.
Do you think it is that Zemin has some affection for you, or are you worried that is that what you're imagining there?
Yeah, I think that there's something. I'm just worried that that's the case, and we can play to find out what's happening. But yeah.
Okay. Zemin, so okay. So Zemin is in somehow interested. Zemin probably has an ulterior motive than simply being nice to you. And we don't know what that is yet.
But she's she's a beautiful young woman, but she's also a servant to the prince now, which is interesting. So there you go. Okay. Yeah, so that seems like a good way to run that one. We'll come back to and check on your other one here in just a sec. Scott, which of these would you like to define now? Would you like to define your romantic or your general?
Start with the general one because I have that sort of filled out thanks to Walter. So my parent Yan has told me that Zemin stands in the way of our plans, which is why I was planted there as a spy, but I cannot bring myself to betray them.
Nice. That's a good classic, clear, provides some tension that inner conflict can hit on. Does that work for you, Walter?
Yes.
Okay. Then let's come to you, Zemin. Do you want to do your general or your romantic first?
Let's see. Well, I picked a romantic one already. Let's see.
Okay.
I just picked. I don't mind when my friend blank mocks me for my restraint, but it kills me when blank laughs along with them. So who might these people be? Who might my friend here be? I'm wondering. Let's see. So I'm wondering if 2 is my friend who mocks me for my restraint. It seems like 2 being a Bravo is probably less restrained than I am. How do you think of that?
Yeah, that would work. That would be obviously a good cover for one who is supposed to be spying on you, but maybe doing other.
Okay. And
Plays
well,
that out,
let's see.
yeah.
And it says that you cannot bring yourself to betray me, right? So maybe sounds like you've developed some sense of loyalty with me. It sounds like we've kind of developed something.
Yeah, I think there's a respect there that you gained, and
Friendship. Yeah. I consider you a friend. I think we probably refer to each other as friends and spend time doing friend things together, even if you have more on your mind than I'm aware of. Let's see, but it kills me when blank laughs along with you. Who would, when you mock me for my restraint, who might laugh along with you?
Let's make somebody up. Let's add.
We've got some people on the table. If you want to make things super complicated, certainly there is Lady Shun, who Heng is in love with, and we could double up that complication if you wanted.
Yes, let's bring her in.
What do you think? Does that work for you, Zemin?
Yeah, that sounds good.
Okay. Does that work for you, Heng?
Yeah, no problem. No problem.
Yeah. Get some conflict potential there.
So is Lady Shun then? I mean, it sounds like if that happens regularly, then maybe Lady Shun is like also a friend of two and mine, and the three of us kind of pal around sometimes. Maybe we just end up being in the same place a lot.
She's a delightful, vivacious member of the court. Her husband is much older, but and very well respected. But of course, she occupies herself with other things, and is a brilliant social butterfly.
Yep, sounds good.
Excellent. Then let's swing back. Heng, what is your other entanglement? Are you good with that, or you want to add do something with that?
I think I have a different idea, because I mean that one's pretty waist centric. So
okay,
at least for the time being, I was thinking that maybe let me get character names here. Maybe there's one that is for the tutor. There is I suspect Blank maneuvered to bring me into court because of my connection to Blank.
Ooh.
And I think that what I think might work well is if Zemin maneuvered me into court because of my relationship to Yahui.
Ooh.
And it's but maybe there's like a little bit of a rivalry there, but Zemin wouldn't be able to act directly because he's associated with Lady Shun.
So what I'm reading is Lady Shun, a lovely woman that Zemin is drawn to, certainly bears some affection for. Her husband's a tyrant, an ogre, and so Zemin arranged to have this young, handsome rival of him brought in. Does that work for you, Zemin?
Yeah. Yeah.
Let's see. I'm not sure I completely got that. Okay, so we're talking about Huang has a wait. So Huang has an unrequited love for Lady Shun. That's
right.
where we're starting.
But the most important thing is sort of your affection for her, and would have driven you to you probably don't like her husband, right?
Yeah, probably not. Why not? Okay, sure.
In which case, if you knew that there was a young up and comer who might be a rival to him, certainly
to her husband.
Yes, that certainly bringing them on board would have been a maneuver you could have done, and I think that's what we're angling towards.
And so I brought Heng on board to be that rival to Lady Shun's husband.
Yes.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. That sounds cool. I like that. Yeah. Does her husband have a name?
Yes, that is Yahui.
Oh, that's Yahui. Okay.
Yeah.
Got it. Yes. Okay, great.
That brings us to Min. What do you want to do for your general entanglement here?
So my previous general was Zihao from the village. Has given me private secret training, but Bao would be enraged if they learned of it. I think I'll move that kind of into the background of the character.
Sure.
And how about if Scott pushes me to accept their friendship, but doing so risks my family?
In the sense that might be drawing you into political maneuvering kind of thing?
The thing I imagine is, so I don't know a whole lot about Tu at this point, but I imagine that she's either confiding or encouraging more, what's the right word? Shenanigans. and wants someone to participate in this along with her. And I think that Min, as this faithful servant, just kind of smiles and laughs and humors, but is concerned about getting that relationship too close, because that could put, of course, two isn't at risk for, out of bounds behavior, but Min could be dismissed.
Absolutely, especially given your double identity.
Yes.
Excellent. So that brings us back to 2. What do you wish to do for your other entanglement?
Well, I wanted to be in love with somebody. So it's almost too perfect that I'm friends with Shun, that I may be in love with Hang while also friends with Shun. What do you think about that, Hang?
Not a problem for me.
All
Good.
right. And so it would be I love Shun, who I've known all my life, but someone has to remind me of the time I went a little too far when I was a youngster.
Do you think that's Lady Shun who continually reminds them of you of that?
I think so. I think she's a little bit older than me. How old is she? Do we know in the continuity?
I think late 20s in that sort of
Okay,
generic way.
She's a few years older than me. She's definitely older than me enough that she reminds me of her wisdom, the wisdom that she has that I don't have. So yeah.
So she can see your affection for Hang, and she pokes at you about it.
Yeah.
Okay. She has her ulterior motives, of course.
Yeah. So we all should, and we all do.
Okay. Which brings us to Zemin. We've got your romantic one. Do you have a general one you want to do?
Let's see. All right. All right. I'll just figure out how to make this one work, I think. Yeah.
Sure.
So let's see. I've got, let me paste this in. So for a general one, I have, I received the post which blank had promised to my sworn ally blank, but they refused to understand how important it was to my family. I'm actually not sure I understand what that means.
So what happened was someone gave you this position over one of your friends, and you accepted it, even though their family really needed it.
Oh, my friend refused to understand how important it was to my family. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Cool. Okay. Yeah, that's good. All right. I like that.
And we can set
I
up
have
some
no idea who to.
NPCs. Yeah, we've got a list of some NPCs on our court. If you want to bring one of them in, and
yeah, and who might? Yeah. So I mean, would I? Let's see. So, all right. Yeah. Now it's a post which blank had promised to my ally. So maybe, do you have an idea who?
Yeah, I'd pick perhaps the regent on you is one there.
Okay, that makes sense.
Who has some respect for you, and then you can come up with a name for your friend, who resents your taking their position.
I see under in favor faction there's censor do the wise. Is he like being a faction? Is that person like very high up? Is that like too much to be a friend?
So those 6 people are kind of people that are in a significant place of power right now.
Okay. Let's see. I'm not sure I see where the is it under images? Where are the where would I find people I could choose for this?
Oh, well, I would for that for your for the person who would be your pal, you mean?
Yeah.
I'd just make up a name.
Okay, just make up someone new. Okay.
Yeah. And we've
Cool.
got some example names on the entanglements and names tab.
How about Shun?
Shun.
Wait, we already have a Shun.
Oh, wait. Yes, that's right. Please, Shun.
All right. Good. Then
We've got some standard names. We've also got some martial names if you want to choose one of those.
a martial name. Where are those other names? Style names. What would a martial name?
Oh yeah, well
be?
you can actually modify those names to do that. I think I actually forgot to put those on there. It actually shouldn't. There's it's other names are the martial names, and then style names are next to that. So the other names are kind of the sort of fancy title names that people
Okay, what
have.
about Feng, a female name?
Sure.
Okay, I'll put that in. So my ally Feng.
Excellent.
All right.
All right. So I'm going to take an early break here. Give me 5 minutes to chew on this, and then we're going to come in and start in on some scenes, and we're going to hard frame some things. We'll take another break later, but I want to take 5 to chew on this. All right.
This spreadsheet has so many tabs.
Oh, hey.
Not
Sorry
as
about
many
that. Good to
tabs
see
as
you all back.
Legacy. Yeah.
Legacy, yeah, no, Legacy had a ton.
Yeah, that is metric ton. So few nights ago in the palace, there was an uproar. Intruders were seen on the grounds. No one was hurt, but strangers were seen, and they were believed that they were assassins that were stopped, though there's no proof of that. And there's some rumors that the prince encountered one of them, but again, no truth to that. However, one of the foreign guests, Bao, shortly after removed himself from the palace, which may be because of the delegation that has just arrived from the northern country that borders this one of Zinja. And they are here to speak of treaties and so on. There's old hostilities between the two countries. They're the ones that are kind of rattling their sabers right now. And there's discussion going on, and there's much back and forth. Some people believe that we need to come to a settlement with them. Some people believe we need to go to war. That has created a whole set of tensions and questions there. We're going to take up here, and we're going to come in with Heng. Another session where your steward, your student Wei has not shown up, and you're kind of at your wit's end, maybe a little bit, especially because you still don't have really good answers about what went on the other night where you found Lady Shun outside your room, and then why her husband, your Lahui, was playing at being drunk, and who then also humiliated you, if I recall correctly.
Yeah.
You are there in your offices, and there is that sort of gentle knock of someone with some courtly manners, treating you with regard, and they will wait for you to answer.
Enter.
And you will see the door open, and you will see a woman who kind of takes you a second to place them. But it's her name is Feng. She is a someone in one of the offices of you think the chancellor's office. Not a particularly glorious position, but essentially kind of the person the chancellor sends to do their duty. And Lady Feng will say, "You're Master Heng, am I correct?"
Yes, you are correct.
I come on behalf of the Chancellor, Guijian.
All right. State your business. I assume my station is higher than hers.
Well, you're both servants, but you probably think your station is higher than hers. She bristles a little when you say state your business in that perfunctory way, but she will say, well, to the point then. The Chancellor, she says with some emphasis, would like your assistance in a matter of some discretion. Chancellor, she has seen that you are a skilled calligrapher and perhaps a person who would be an excellent and worthy successor for when Master Yahui inevitably moves on. Do I have your interest?
I am certainly. Oh, you definitely have my interest.
The Chancellor would like a document produced. We have the text of the document in a hand that is graceful and skilled and adds emphasis to it, a work of art, as it were, condemning those who wish peace with our northern neighbors. Would like this to be done quickly, but with some skill. Do you think that you could produce such a document and be discreet about it?
I can do so, although I doubt that I can conceal my own role in the production of the document.
You lack that skill?
Well, I would say I would state it more that my skill is such that on looking at the document, one could only conclude that it came from my hand.
Then perhaps we have come to the wrong person if you cannot conceal your style in that way.
I am not. I have no interest in adulterating my talents.
Fair enough. I will convey to Chancellor Guijin that you have declined their request.
Yeah, I know which way the wind's blowing in this court.
What do you want to do?
Yeah, well, I am going to say I'm going to have her wait one moment, and I'm going to pen a short scroll that conveys my regrets personally.
Interesting. Okay.
And yeah, and I'm gonna make a point of it being, particularly, well crafted and beautiful.
Excellent. So we have a couple of ways that we can do this. We could do this as a simple hearts and minds, but if you're trying to play politics a little bit with this, we could have you roll for the game of court.
I am. I think it's more game of court.
Okay. You're trying to get something out of this, and let's see. What do you want to roll that with?
Well, I don't have a lot of choices.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah,
You need to do something to clear your statuses.
Yeah. All right, so I guess I'll roll wood.
Okay. Let us have you roll. Let us see if the roller is as unkind as it was last session.
Oh boy. 6.
That is a 6. Now,
yeah,
you could burn a bond if you wanted to bump that to a 7.
I think I will.
Okay. Which bond do you think you're going to burn?
I am. Oh, I need to fill in bonds for the people that
You just have 2 to start.
I just have the 2 to start. Okay.
Yeah.
Then, well, I'm gonna alter that way one to let's see, Yahui,
Okay.
and I'll burn that.
Okay. That'll take you to a 7. So if we're looking at the courtly moves, what is it that you would like? What is it that you want to get out of this?
Okay, so this is off the Game of Court list.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
You send them a letter to decline, and you want your missive to have an additional effect.
Um,
And this can be an effect on yourself or an effect directed to someone else. It's up to you.
yeah. I am. Okay, so let me see if this line of reasoning makes sense.
Oh, sure.
I know that the Chancellor is agitating for war.
Yes.
Yes. And the idea here is that I want to deflect any possibility that I'm sympathetic to that.
Okay.
By having this document out there in the world that that shows that I'm not willing to play ball with
Absolutely.
that.
You will conceal your involvement in any kind of call to war.
Right.
Yeah. And actually, I just remembered that Game of Court uses influence. So we would actually, rather than rolling a stat, we would have had you spend the one influence.
Okay.
And that's how that would have worked. So.
And it wouldn't have modified the roll. It would have been a modifier to it.
It would have been it would have given you a +1 actually.
Oh, then I didn't need to burn my influence.
Exactly.
Then.
Exactly.
All right.
So yes, you will pen that. Feng will take the letter, and she will bow, and she will head out. Now, let me check in with Min. I will remind you of your servant move. I don't know if that's something you want to trigger here, or should I set something else up?
Let's go ahead and set something else up.
Okay. You have seen this delegation arrive from this neighboring country, from Zinnia, and you've seen a group come in. There's a noble duke there, a number of servants and things like that, and you will definitely see that one of the servants who is among that entourage looks familiar. Looks strikingly like that dead woman, the assassin who you found their body, and not it's not her clearly, but you would guess a sister maybe. And what is your feeling about the whole war situation? Is that something you're worried about? Something you think you take advantage of? What do you think?
This is the same country that Bao is from. Is that right?
Yes, it is.
Okay. And I think my take on it is Bao is not very pleasant for me.
Right.
So I stay away from them. And I think I would like to, I think in general, I don't really want to take advantage of this, but I don't want to be involved in it. So I think the way that I'm going to react to this, I think I'm going to seek out. I imagine that during this delegation, all of the different courtly people have come by and
Oh yes.
made their greetings, and my job has been to serve food and drink. And I think at some point, Two was there, and Two is kind of like a confidant, and I'm going to tell her, you know, ooh, you know, there was an assassin just the other night, and I saw the dead body. It was very scary, and just you can't tell anyone that I told you this, but that the dead woman, the dead assassin, looks a lot like the young woman who is sipping her tea over there. Um, do you see her?
I see.
Yeah,
Uh,
you may want to talk to her to find out more, because you know there may be more afoot than just this delegation. I wouldn't understand such things, but
oh, well, she looks like she could be a friend. I may go over there.
just just be very careful, and you know maybe you should take a guard with you.
Oh, who needs guards?
Very good.
So two, we have Min has kind of thrown this into your lap in this greeting. There's a general gathering. People are drinking, talking. There's teacups being raised. Uh, your mentor Zamin is there. People are going about, and there's this young. She's clearly one of the servants to this foreign delegation, and that Min is pointing out. What do you want to do?
Um, what is she doing in her servant role? Is she serving? Is she just waiting on him? Or
Yeah, she's doing that thing where she's kind of at the back, waiting to attend to any of the senior diplomats' needs. There are a few of these handmaids like that who are kind of at wait.
all right, I'm just I'll go over to I guess the wall where she's waiting, and I'll just I just have had too much to drink tonight. How about you? Are you having a good time?
She turns to you, nods, and bows. Yes, yes, milady. The, the the gathering is most satisfactory.
Oh, well, it's certainly far more eloquently than I could have put it. Um, uh, who did you come with? I I've had so much to drink. What's your name?
Uh, uh, my name is Nee.
Oh, Nee, that is a beautiful name. I feel we could be wonderful friends.
And who may I have the honor of addressing?
Oh, I'm two. Surely you've heard of me. It's the one that they always joke about and laugh about for being an idiot.
Milady, I'm not familiar with your court gossip or speech, but I cannot imagine that anyone would accuse you of those things.
It's pretty unlikely, but they do it. People are very cruel sometimes, but uh, um, not me. I just came to have a good evening and to see some friends. I'm glad I found you though, because all my friends have left. I had no one to talk to.
Well, this, uh, and she clearly doesn't want to, how do I put this, alienate you. So she will kind of nod and turn her attention to you. What do you want to do? Do you want to are you trying to wheedle information out of her? Are you trying to make her your friend?
Yeah, I think I'm trying to make a friend here, make a connection with her.
Okay. Then what do you want to roll that with?
Let me go back to the character tab. Let's roll that with so many. Let's do that with wood, curiosity.
Okay. Absolutely. Let's have you roll that.
All right. That's a +1 for me. A 10.
And I think that you will definitely charm her, and she will you know, speak with you a little more openly, you can tell that she has some worries right now, and that sort of at the end of this conversation, she considers you someone that she can trust. Like you've definitely gotten past her barriers, and she's like, I hope that we might speak again, Lady Two.
Absolutely, and I'll tell her where my family's residences are in the court, and just tell them that you're here to see two. They'll let you right in. It will be a pleasure to. I will serve you tea if you care to visit me.
Oh well, no, that would be most no.
It would just be in the room. No one would know. You don't have to tell anybody.
Well, I hope that we'll have time to do that, Lady Two.
So
Wonderful.
while that's going on, I'd like to take advantage of that distraction,
Okay.
and I'm going to take over Nin's duties, serving her master. And I have twofold reason for this. One
Okay.
is to make her look bad, like she's shirking her duties.
Okay.
And then the other is to see if I can overhear anything from the foreign contingent.
So where do you want to start with that? Do you want to hearts and minds it first, or do you want to do your study first?
Let's do my study first.
Okay. What do you want to roll your study with?
I'll roll my study with wood because I think I'm curious about what's going on here.
That seems fair.
And I rolled a 5, and my wood is a 1, so that gives me a 6.
Okay. So that's a 6. You can keep that, or unless you want to burn a bond and push that to a 7.
Whenever you burn a bond, that doesn't get rid of the entanglement, correct?
That is correct. No, all it does is you're using up the energy from that connection, and you can restore that later.
So I think I'm going to burn a bond. I'm going to burn my bond with 2 because she's my distraction.
All right. So you have 1 hold then with that study.
Okay.
What is it that? And here's the thing: is again, for study, you can ask a question about a situation, ask a question about a person, learn a person's scale, or reveal a detail.
So I think the question I want to ask here, this is open-ended, correct?
Yes.
I can ask anything.
Yeah. I may ask, how do you know? But
Right.
Or how can you tell? But otherwise, it's pretty open-ended.
Yeah. Why would this contingent have sent assassins ahead of time to the court? What was their purpose in doing so? Is what I'm looking for.
The contingent is divided, much like your court. Some want this embassy to go badly. They wish war with your nation. And others do not. The leader, the diplomat of this contingent clearly wants this to happen, despite his arrogance. But there's clearly some people amongst this contingent, just getting the like listening to what they're saying and things like that, you can tell that there's a disagreement of opinions there. Does that seem like a fair answer?
Oh, absolutely. Yes.
And let me come back to you on the knee thing, okay? I want to cut the camera over to Zemin. Zemin, when the camera comes to you in the middle of this gathering, what do we see you doing?
Yeah. So let's see. I think I'm probably I think I'm advising someone. I think I've spent a fair amount of time sort of studying sort of the situation and who's what the politics are, and I think I'm there kind of on hand to just like kind of like give relay like information that might be useful to one of our high diplomats, right?
Okay. You're certainly doing that, and you speak eloquently. You got we see you make a joke and people laugh. We'll see your eyes wander. You can see Lady Two, your protege, speaking with one of the servants from this embassy, and of course you'll look and you'll see Lady Shun. Heart kind of skips maybe a little bit of a beat there, along with her husband, Master Yahui. He looks like he's more irritated than anything to be here.
Do I know what Master Yahui's opinion in all of these matters is? Is he for war or for peace?
Let's have you make a study roll.
Okay, yeah.
What would you like to roll that with?
Let's see. So, I think that might be obsessive. I
Okay.
spend a lot of time
Yeah.
trying to get a
Here.
read on Yahui and an angle for how I can manipulate him or his situation. So I'm going to say Earth, which is a +1. Let's see. So let me grab a couple dice. And came up an 8, so that'll be a 9.
So and now you could spend burn one of your bonds to make that a 10 and get 2 hold.
Oh, yeah, that would make a lot of sense, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
All right, so let's see. I have bonds with, well, I have a bond with Fang and I have a bond with 2.
Both of them are here. Both of them are kind of important to you.
Yeah. Let's see. And what are they? So I think, let's see. 2 mocks me for my restraint, huh? Yeah, I think I'm gonna burn the bond with 2.
Okay, that makes sense.
Do I mark that on my sheet then? Do I put that as
Yeah,
a
you'll
0?
just turn the 1 to a 0.
Okay.
So you get 2 hold, and you can ask questions about the person or situation. You can learn a person's scale. If we're in a fighting situation, we're probably not. But you can also declare. You can make a declaration. You can tell me how Yahui feels about the war, or you can ask.
Ah, interesting. Okay.
You get 2 hold to spend on this.
Yeah. I want to say that that Yahui wants war. I'm going to declare, I suppose.
Yeah, he definitely wants war. He believes that if war comes, there will be more call for his services to write great martial poems out and to draw great banners for the Empress Regent. Yeah, absolutely. And what do you want to use with your other hold?
Let's see. So for that, I could ask a question or declare something
Yeah.
else. Then is that right? And
Yeah.
and that's a hold. So I don't have to do that immediately as well.
No, you can hold on to that if you want. Do you want to
All
hang
right.
on to
So yeah. I think nothing comes to mind. So
Sure.
I'll hold on to that for the moment.
that? As you are there, you'll see a figure kind of come through the crowd, one of the courtly people, and you'll see Brother Wen. He is called the Glass Staff Keeper. He is seen as upright. He's neither in favor nor out of favor, but he is from one of the Wulin factions, and he has some pull here. And he makes his way over to where you are, Master Zemin. And he says, Master Zemin,
Yes, Brother Wu.
I wonder if I might have a few moments of your time.
I glance over at the diplomat that I've been sort of advising, and just to check that he's free for a moment. And assuming he is, I say, yes, I have some time. What may I help you with?
And he leads you a little ways away. And he says, I'm somewhat out of my element here. So you'll forgive me if my question comes perhaps and it's too direct. But where lie your feelings on this question of war?
Well, Why do you ask, Brother Wen? This is a very delicate time that we are in. It would be it is not my place to speak boldly of such things on this occasion.
But you are a man of wisdom. People respect you, respect your intelligence. Myself, I think that war will win our kingdom nothing. In times with the other turmoils that are going on, this is certainly not the day to begin another conflict.
Yes, I see you are very passionate in this belief, and I sense that you are wishing to confirm who your allies are, who you can bring to your cause in this. Do you have a moment that you wish to bring this to? For example, are you planning to bring this to Lady Yu and or Aunt Yu and sway her?
Here is the thing. I believe that the presence of this embassy and so on is a movement to preventing this conflict, preventing this war. But I think that there are forces here within the court, people who may attempt to sabotage this embassy. So what I would ask of you is to keep your eye out. And if you hear or see anything that makes you suspect that there are people moving to cause that kind of turmoil, I would wish that you would pass that on to me.
Ah, I see. Well, so I'm gonna use that other hold now.
Okay.
I'd like to know, sort of what is Brother Wen's sort of motive for this, right? I mean, I'm assuming that Brother Wen is interested in more than just the what's best for the kingdom. I'm wondering, what is Brother Wen getting out of there being peace?
Right now, there's a set of battles going on amongst the various martial orders for control and authority and so on. And the court hasn't paid that much attention to that. Court hasn't gotten that involved with it. And he clearly believes that if there's a war, then that situation will only get worse. But if there isn't, then there's a chance that order can be brought to the martial world, and that maybe he could rise to the top.
Aha. Okay. So if there's a war now, then he's probably not in a position to be one of the people in the martial orders that immediately benefits,
Right.
given the current state of the politics. I see. And you said so Brother Wen, he's relatively now. Okay. All right.
Yeah. He's a respected figure. Like he is above you in social scale.
Okay. So I mean, all right. All right. Okay. So I'm just gonna like do a little meta conversation here to kind of wrap my head around what's going on, and I'd love some input from people. So I mean, there's like an obvious thing that I could do is try to hand over Liu's name. I'm sorry, what's his name?
Yihao?
Yihao's name.
Yahui? Yeah, Yahui.
Yahui's name. And I guess that makes sense just to keep Yahui busy then, if nothing else.
It does.
So there's probably not a lot that I lose in that regard. So yes. Okay. So okay. Sorry, I just wanted to think that out loud. Make sure that I've got my head wrapped around everything.
Sure.
Okay. So back into playing. Now, So okay, I say, well, brother Wen, um, I can tell that you have the interest of the kingdom at heart, and and I have a great deal of respect for you and your opinion of how we would fare in war. Therefore, I will share with you that now, of course, you didn't hear this directly from me, but if you asked around, it won't be too difficult to discover that Yahui is a very strong advocate for war.
Interesting. Now, zoom in. I'm going to ask you because you can, right now, you're just handing him a name and he's going to think nothing of it. If you could press further on this,
Yeah.
you could spend your influence and perhaps put Yahui in a very bad position here.
Yeah. Okay. Spend my influence. How does that?
So what
Is
it
that-
is we've got a move called the Game of Court.
Oh, okay.
And you
Is
roll.
that on the sheet somewhere? I haven't
Yeah,
seen
it
that.
is the
Oh,
courtly
moves.
moves and notes.
Oh, okay.
And you roll with however much influence you spend, and then you get to choose results there.
Oh, alienate a key ally. Okay. Would so
Make
Yahui would
make
count as a
yourself
key
or
ally
someone.
in this case.
You can make someone or yourself do something. You could make Yahui lose his allies. You could have him put out of favor.
Make
in
some.
the
Okay.
court.
Yeah. Okay. I see. Cool. Yes. So that makes sense. Then I think even now, what is Yahui's relationship with Lady Shun? I mean, they're married, but
Yeah.
is like
He
I
is a
guess-
authoritarian,
I mean, I
older
think
male.
one of the most obvious things to do would be to like have it get in the way of their marriage. Maybe try and alienate him from Shun, right? Being Lady Shun being Yahui's key ally.
Well, certainly, if you put him out of favor, that puts strain on their marriage. Or do you want to? I mean, more specifically, cause how would you do that?
Well, let's see. So, okay, so playing the game of court, I can do that in this is just a very general move. So I can do this in all sorts of ways.
Broad meta way.
Yeah. All right. So I think now. All right, I'm not. I'll take suggestions from people. I'm having trouble coming up with a good way to do that. Like a good.
Let me have you think on that. Let me go around and come back to you.
That sounds good.
On that, let's do that. Let's come back to Hang.
If you don't mind, before we start another scene, I'd like to have my servant move at this point.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Just so that I can be involved a little bit and know what was going on there.
Absolutely. So
that is roll.
Yep. What do you want to roll with?
I'll roll with water as far as awareness.
Sounds good.
I rolled a 5 plus 2 is a 7.
Okay. So after private conversation, explain how you're in place, which makes sense. You were right there. On a 7 to 9, you heard everything, but one of the involved parties sees you leave or finds evidence of your presence. So who will know that you were listening in?
So I think it would be much more interested if it was Zeman.
Yeah.
And I think I'm serving tea, and usually I'm not present, I'm not noticed. Servants are, not paid much attention to.
Right.
However, I think whenever I hand the tea to Zeman, and he says Yahui's name, the tea spills a little bit. And that's very unusual and not appropriate.
So at the end of this, Zemin, you'll realize that Min, who you care about, has been listening in on your conversation there. We'll put a pin in that.
Thank you.
Hang. Anything you're doing at this gathering or outside of this gathering when we come back to you? Lady Shun is still there, and there are others.
I'm formulating a plan to undermine Yahui.
Okay.
What the general I'm using my final master move, so what I'm planning on doing is actually drawing Yahui into a kind of a back and forth, like creating like I'm going to create a banner that he has to kind of respond to. That's going to draw this issue of whether we should go to war out into the open. And I'm hoping through like subtlety and kind of manipulating him through my choices of symbology to maneuver him into a misstep that will discredit him.
Then we'll have you roll. That seems like a good plan. So let's have you roll to do those preparations with your final master move.
All right. So I will roll wood. Nine.
Okay. So you will have one hold to do those plans. What is sort of the first step in this?
Well, I am going to kind of I'm gonna find a piece of like a piece of cloth that is like and I'm going to just kind of like informally, like almost without really announcing it, but like as I'm working it starts to draw attention, I'm going to craft a my first ideogram banner at the event.
So does this seem maybe like you're trying to impress?
Yes.
Okay. Then what do you want to roll your that to do your art? What do you want to do with that? And you can take +1 forward from plan if you want to spend afterwards.
No, I'm going to clear an element with my hold.
Yes, let's see.
All right. And then roll to impress, and I'm going to do this with my now cleared metal. Okay, so that's a 7.
Okay.
And hold on. I want to look at.
Yeah, you get 2 options.
Yeah, and that's on the impress move, correct? Okay, yeah. So I am going to clear an element.
Okay.
Then so I really need options. So
yes.
And I am going to create a bond with Zemin.
Okay. Because they are operating together. I think that, you're doing this, you're drawing attention, you're kind of, making some noise here, and I think that you're going to have to roll. This is the 7 to 9 result. I think I'm going to have you roll inner conflict because you are drawing Lady Shun's gaze. She is, you're kind of doing this very publicly. Does that seem fair?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
Sure.
Let's resolve that and then we'll move.
Okay.
What do you want to roll your inner conflict with?
So anything but metal, right? So
that is correct.
I am gonna go ahead and roll wood. Or wait, no, let me see. Yeah, I'll roll wood.
Okay.
8.
8. So you have a choice. You can mark wood and keep yourself steady here, and or you can withdraw, essentially finish what you're doing and withdraw from the party. If you finish what you need to here. Okay.
I'll withdraw.
Okay. So it is in your strategic plan, but it is something of your discomfort that as her gaze falls on you, you do pull back. 2, let's come back to you. What are you up to? Do we want to cut forward, or is there something else you want to do here at the gathering?
I don't think I have anything more to do at the gathering.
Then shall we cut to you doing like speaking with the servant later, or do you want to talk with one of the other PCs, because we can kind of finish what they're doing at the party and then come back to you? What do you think?
I think I would check in with Zamin after the party.
Yeah. So as let's then Zamin, things have you've had some time to think. And 2 will approach you as things are kind of winding down at the party. Does that seem fair? You're muted. Okay.
Yes.
So 2,
yeah, that sounds great.
Where do you find Zamin? Inside in one of the courtly areas, or outside in the garden, or where at?
I think outside of the garden, looking at the moon.
Okay. There you go.
There you are, looking as bored as you did all night.
Too. Good to see you. I noticed you were having a good time while I was mostly working. I'm glad you were enjoying yourself.
Well, who doesn't enjoy
you
it?
seem to be socializing with you seem to be socializing with a little bit of everyone, even some of the people from the foreign contingent from Zinnia. How did you find their company?
Up there, personable, just like us. They drink just like us. I don't see what the big problems are.
So you think we can get along with them?
I mean, I would hope so. It seems like there's a lot going on here.
I agree, and that's why I'm rather concerned that my understanding is that Yahui would like us to go to war. He hasn't spoken this publicly to my knowledge, but I feel he is trying to maneuver us in that direction. It worries me. I fear that our martial forces are not aligned in this. I think it would be good for us to, at the very least, postpone any conflict.
Yeah, I'm not certain if all the families are ready for that. I wonder if he's planning for that, maybe planning to rise the stature of his family by being the one prepared.
Yes. Yes, I think that is exactly it. Yes, and I fear he would do it at the detriment of the rest of the court and of the people of our land.
Out of character, do we know if he supports the heir? Is it known?
He being the ambassador.
Yahui?
Yeah.
Yahui supports the regent. because she's the one who gave him his job. So
Okay.
very much at Regent Yu's.
What
beck
is
and call.
Hui's job exactly?
He is the master calligrapher for the court. It's a very honored and important position.
Definitely. Okay. So back into character. Well, if the heir is not prepared, that only benefits the regent.
That is a good point. That is a good point. But there are certainly other things that could benefit the regent. Stability, chief among them. Yes. Now, if only we knew what the regent's thoughts on this matter were. I think it would be important to influence the regent in this regard. Is there any threat that you perceive from the side of Xinya that might drive us to war? Is there something we should be watching out for?
Well, they're pushing. They're making noise.
Pushing?
The question remains if they're just making noise or if they mean to back it up.
Well, if there was a way that we could get in on their conversations a bit more, you're very much more social than I am too. You're much more social than I am too. Do you
I'll
think
put out
you could...
feelers among all my friends and see what I can find out.
Yes. If there's anything I can do to help you in that, let me know.
Oh,
if I can open any doors for you.
I don't want you to get your hands dirty. Let other people do that.
No, really, it's part of my job to understand what's going on in everyone's position. Really, if there's anything I can do to help you make more contacts with the Xinya delegation, let me know.
I will probably take you up on that soon.
Very good. Very good. And then when all this is over, I can relax and we can have a drink finally.
I can never see you relaxing. There'll be some other crisis. There'll be someone ordered the wrong parchment. The ribbons are the wrong color at the banquet. There'll be something.
That is actually very important. If the different delegation gets the wrong color that doesn't match their banners, it could ruin everything. You just don't understand how delicate these matters can be.
Well, how lucky we are to have Zamin looking out for us.
Don't roll your eyes like that when you say it.
Let me cut there and let's come back to Min. When we left off, you were looking at putting Ni, under the microscope, as it were, amongst her people. Do you still want to do that, or do you want to do something else?
So I think after discovering that some of the people there have that they're mixed, some of them want war, and some of them don't. I don't think I have any interest at this point exposing Ni, but I think I would like to expose that there is infighting among their ranks.
Okay.
And the conversation that I overheard between Zeman and the keeper of the glass staff, is that right?
Yep.
I think that opened everything up very well. So I think I'll go to Zeman And I'm going to go to Zemin as Zen, the guard.
Okay.
Because that just seems more appropriate.
Sure.
And tell Zemin that I have reason to fear that some of the contingent mean to take us to war.
So Zemin, this guard, describe this guard for Zemin. And this is, the alternate identity, which no one sees through, even though everyone sees through it, of our servant. So tell us about this military guise that you present yourself to Zemin in.
So this is tall. Zen is tall and thin, has a top knot, and he's wearing, it's not ornamental armor, but he's wearing, like leathers, something that is flexible but would be slightly protective.
Mm-hmm.
And I think he's carrying a more common weapon, like a dagger or a spear, probably a ceremonial spear. And comes to Zemin and says, I think some of the contingency mean us harm. I have an informant who told me that they overheard the contingency discussing ways that this peace treaty can fail. It's not all of them, but it's some of them. And I suspect that they're related to the assassins that unsuccessfully attacked here in previous nights.
This Zin, it is very good of you to be reporting this to me. I will make sure that it gets to the appropriate authorities. And I want to I'm curious, Zin, what is your, is it obvious what Zin's rank is? It's probably in some level, like I have a sense of who Zin might be, where in the martial hierarchy or something.
You have the sense that Zen is a skilled servant, a warrior. You've never seen them tested, so you're not sure what their scale is, but you know that they're a respected guard here at the palace. Does it seem like an accurate summation, Stephen?
Yes.
Okay. Cool.
I have guarded the heir, so there's a certain amount of prestige with that.
Okay. Are you familiar with the glass staff keeper?
I have served near him in the past. We are not brothers. I have not come to know him as closely as others. I do not know his loyalty like I know yours.
Well, I'm honored to hear that you recognize my loyalty. And I like to give everyone the benefit of the doubt as far as loyalty, but this is definitely a challenging time for our course, and people are of various opinions here. It is so my feeling, Zin, is that it would be advised for us to at least put off conflict. Don't you agree?
I think that it is unwise for us as a court to take such an overt peaceful gesture from our neighbor and encourage the spilling of blood. And I think that is rude, but it's not really my place to make these decisions. This is why I've come to you.
Yes, I think there is one thing that that would be worth doing would be to look into people in the court who are attempting to undermine our peace efforts. Perhaps there's even some evidence somehow that they are linked to the assassins. I do not know. If you could undertake to investigate that, that would be a very useful thing. Is this something you would like to endeavor to do?
I appreciate your faith in me, and I will do my best to help the cause.
Very good, very good. And I will be. I think that the master, Brother Wen, the glass staff keeper, would be pleased to hear that you are undertaking such a role, and I would put in a good word with him on your behalf, Zin. So let me just give you a suggestion. Now, there is a possibility that Yahui has been agitating for conflict. Perhaps
Me? No.
perhaps even doing something, I don't know. Like I said, I don't like to think that anyone is disloyal. But as I said, if you find any evidence of someone conspiring with, say, the assassins to put us into a state of conflict, that would definitely look good for you, and I'm sure the court would be appreciated, and as would Brother Wen. Thank you, Zin.
I will do my
Your
best.
loyalty is very clear.
Yes. Thank you.
Oh, you're on mute. Did you say something, Lowell?
Let's come back to Hang. We might move forward a little bit in time. Hang, you've got a plan out there. Actually, we're about 5 minutes to the hour, so let's do this. We're going to come back and start with Hang, figure out where your plans are, but let's take 5 and then we'll come back, okay?
Sure. How you doing, Stephen?
I'm doing fine. How are you?
Oh, good. Well, I'm waiting to find out if I'm going into work or not, but I teach at community colleges in Northern California.
Mhm.
So, like one of my colleges, we're going all online after tomorrow. And then the other one, they're waiting to decide. So,
I've had a number of colleagues and other companies who have been told to work from home, but my company has not said that yet. So
I was just talking to my housemate literally a minute ago, and she was like, "Yeah, my company told me to work from home starting tomorrow."
yeah, I just, I don't know. I don't like teaching online. So they act like it's just seamless and that there's not really any point to teaching in person. So I don't know.
I hated remote teaching. That was the worst.
Yeah.
All right. So, Hang, you have started to put your work, your operations into play. So, what is your next step?
Oh, well, you said that there's kind of a little bit of a time lapse.
Yeah, we can move forward a little bit.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I imagine that what's kind of happening is that the idea is I'm trying to get Yahui to be like essentially pulling him into an argument through the medium of like, you know, calligraphic banners and duel
Interesting.
of some kind. But I'm being told my internet connection up. Are everyone hear me? Okay.
Yeah, we're getting a little bit of lag.
So yeah, but the idea is that I'm trying to lay a rhetorical trap for him.
Interesting.
Because I know his habits of mind, and I'm trying to get him to like reveal some avenue of argument that'll cast him into disfavor.
So let me ask you a question. There are a couple ways that we can do this. One way is for you to kind of maybe work on somebody to try and do that. You could try and duel him socially. That's sort of what you're doing. You're kind of trying to deal with him publicly, right? To cause him that embarrassment and
right,
defeat him. So let us say for this purpose that normally he would be above your scale, right?
Okay.
But tell me what you do. You kind of start to set up. What do you do to work to kind of try to bring him down to your scale? What is it that you're doing? Who is it you're working with? What's your plan to put him in a position where you're going to be on equal ground when you go to this argument?
Well, because I'm moving it into the realm of scholarship and calligraphy.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna say that like it's been a while since he was my teacher, and like there were a couple like this is essentially like trading aphorisms from ancient texts and that kind of thing in this like banner form. So it's I've kind of figured out a counter to a one of his major moves that way. Like I've spent years finding an obscure text, so I've moved into the realm of like scholarship rather than like position in the court.
So this does sound like we're doing impress again. Does that
Okay.
seem fair?
Yeah, that's
then,
fine.
and that one of the choices that you have, so you have two, if you succeed, you'll have two picks.
Mhm,
One of the picks will be to reduce his scale down to
mhm.
your thing. And let's have you roll that. What do you want to roll that with?
I think because this is a plan, I've been kind of working out in my mind for a long time. It's that's going to be metal.
Okay. And you've got and you've done that. So yeah, let's see.
All right, that is 11.
That is 11. So you're going to get to pick two options. Let's say we'll put an extra option on there, which is reduce their scale.
Okay.
And one option that I should write in there is also if you want to gain influence, you could take that as an option.
And yeah, I will
Okay.
do that. I'll gain influence.
So describe to me, what's the montage we see as you start to work and attack him over the next several days? What do we see on screen? How do we know that this is happening?
So what's happening is in these public spaces in the halls of the estate, there are, I start displaying these banners in places that everyone knows. These are ways that Master Yahui travels. It's like I'm being mildly presumptuous by doing this outside of his without his sanction, as he's kind of the official calligraphy person. But it's like if he calls me out, it looks like if he uses a technicality to keep me from doing it, it looks like he's afraid of me.
Nice. We probably see him waiting until later and tearing some banners down, but you've got more
Right.
ready.
But he's coming out, and I'm trying to bait him into engaging with me on this. So, but the whole thing is I put and eventually when a new one goes up, there's people waiting for him to come by and see it, and it's becoming kind of like one of the something that's keeping the court entertained.
Excellent. Yeah, you have definitely put him on the spot. We'll come back around and do the actual duel, because he will come charging down with that roll. You will force his hand. Let's come. The rest of you will be aware that this situation is brewing. It is not hidden. You will know that. You can tell that Master Hang is pushing on Master Hui there. And causing him some consternation. Min, what are you up to?
So I think as Zen, I am trying to keep my eyes on Master Yahui and look for any connection he has to these emissaries.
Sure.
To see, is there any influence there? Is he meeting with them secretly? Is he trying to push them in some way? Just overall checking things out.
That sounds like study.
Okay. So I will roll study with wood, because I think this requires patience. Let's see what I rolled. I rolled a 4 plus 1 for wood is a 5.
Is a 5.
Please remind me, do we mark XP on a failure?
No.
Okay.
No.
Do we automatically mark the element that we used?
If I tell you to, and I
Okay.
will tell you to. So go ahead and mark that element.
Okay.
Let's see here. And you're doing this in your guise as the guard, right?
That's right. That's in.
I think that as a guard, you are kind of listening on things, and you will hear a conversation go on between Master Yahui and his wife, in which Master Yahui says to his wife, "Do you know a servant named Min?" And she's like, I don't know. He says, "I was speaking with the regent and trying to express my displeasure with Hang, but she wasn't listening to me. She had other concerns. Apparently, she's worried about some servants' over familiarity with the heir." Does that seem like a fair move?
Oh yeah, yeah.
Okay, yeah, and what on screen? What's your reaction on camera there?
I think that Zen is kind of walking by. He's probably, as they're going through, as Yahui and Shun are going through a more public area, he's there to make sure no assassins get after them. And again, his presence has been forgotten. And they mention men. And I think you see this, shocked look, and maybe a little bit of blush comes to Zen's cheeks, and this, furtive glance. The camera kind of zooms in on the eyes, and it's like, oh, okay.
Excellent.
Yes.
2, let's come to you. What are you up to? Again, in these next few days, the delegation is going on, but you're also seeing this brewing conflict going on that Zemin has some feelings about.
I think I want to have tea with the servant, but I want to try to. I'm trying to think if I should use my Invincible 8 or not.
Why not? You're losing money not using them.
Yeah, I think that's true.
What is it that you would like them to do?
I would like them to try to see if try to find out if what is the other power's name again?
That would be Xinya.
How do I spell that?
Xinya.
I am taking notes in this game because there's so much. Yeah, I want to ascertain if Xinya is serious or not, or if they're just positioning for power.
Okay.
I want to, and I want to have tea.
Yeah, let's have you roll your Invincible 8. You choose what you want to roll with, and then we'll do your tea, and we'll kind of see the result of this all.
I think I will have them use water for awareness. +1. I got a 9.
Got a 9. So on a 7 to 9, they succeed, but either suffer loss in injuries or reveal your handiwork in the worst possible light. I'll let you choose in a second. We'll come back to that. Yeah, Nee does come kind of despite herself. She finds some time in this, and she comes. She's clearly a little overwhelmed. You're a much higher station than her, but you've been so kind. You were good to her at the gathering, and since then you've checked in on her, and she's like, Lady 2, I don't know how I can repay your generosity for someone such as unworthy as myself.
Well, just your company, your payment's enough. Many of the people here in the court, they're either too stuffy or they have an agenda. They're looking out for themselves. They're scheming in some way. It's really hard to just relax.
And she will drink, and she's clearly enjoying herself. What is your intent here, too? What is it you want?
You had said at the party she seemed distracted. Was that the word you used?
Yeah. Do you want to try and draw her out on that?
I think I want to. Yeah, I want to say, when I first saw you and I started chatting, it took me a while to get your attention, as if your mind was with other more weighty matters. Are you feeling okay here at the court?
Well, I am a little worried. I traveled very far to come to here with the delegation, but I had my two sisters with me, and shortly after I arrived, they vanished.
Oh my!
They after we arrived in the city, they vanished, and I spoke to the person who they serve in the delegation, but gentleman Gong Song said that they were merely taking care of things for him, but they have not returned, and now I'm very worried.
Oh, that must be very difficult for you. Here, have some more tea. I'm very startled to hear that it's usually so safe here. The gentleman Gong Song, you said you spoke with?
Yes, he is the attaché to the ambassador who has come.
Well, maybe I could find out more specifics for you. Sometimes people.
I wouldn't want you to get involved in this. I mean, I'm sure that they've merely maybe they've seen the great city here and have headed out to perhaps find their fortune.
Well, that's probably true. I mean, it is a beautiful city and so many prospects out there.
And yeah, you can tell it that this is pretty much what is weighing on her. Let me ask you then. I'm going to give you the results of your Invisible 8, but I need you to tell me: do they suffer some losses, or does somebody find out about this that shouldn't?
I'm going to have them suffer losses. I'd like
Okay.
to stay hidden a little bit longer.
Absolutely. So, like when they come back, a couple of them don't come back, and they will say, Lady Two, there is something very wrong amongst that delegation.
Wrong in what way?
Two of our number, as we were moving, being very, very careful, but two of our number were poisoned. They were taken away to a physician, but we fear that one of them will not survive. This one of the delegation, this gentleman Gong Song, he is not an ordinary person. He is not even an ordinary Wulin. I fear for him. That seems a good place for us to cut, and we'll come back. I did jump when the dog barked, I'm going to tell you. Zemin, your plans have been working. Yes. You've been thinking about this, and Zemin, you've seen Hang pushing on Yahui.
Yeah, I've noticed that actually, and
Yeah.
I'm thinking I could probably use that. I see this as putting Yahui in a vulnerable position, right?
Mhm.
And certainly it would be to my interests too for Yahui to fail at this. So I think what I maybe want to do is I'm going to I want to I know. Oh, I know. Um I think I'm going to go to the oh, this is interesting. Um I think I'd like to talk to Fang.
Okay.
And uh yeah, I think I maybe, I mean, Fang and I have been friends, even though there's this sort of underlying tension about me having gotten this position over her, but we I think we meet still on occasion, and we're having I'm imagining we're meeting over tea just to talk about how the court's going. I say, so Fang,
Yes.
um I'm hmm I I noticed that there's hasn't been nearly enough done to show the delegation of to show our delegation of visitors just how much we honor and respect them being here. And I think the key way to do that would be to have much more calligraphy from Master Yuhui. I'm surprised that the Chancellor's office has not been requesting more output from him to show how much we take this very seriously.
Master Yahui is locked up in his little battle with his former apprentice. There's no time for these kinds of things. But who cares about these barbarians? Why do you even spend the energy or the thought on these foreigners?
Oh, how can you say this? They're sending a delegation here. It is our duty to show respect to them. Yes, they are foreigners. It is true, but we must show them how superior we are.
I see that. I see that, but there are too many around here who would bow to them, who would say, "Oh, peace above everything else, above our self-respect."
Above our self-respect. What are you
That's
what are you saying, Fang? They are, if we keep them at bay like the dogs that they are, then it allows us to live our lives. Why do we why should we waste our time picking fights with those who are inferior and have nothing of use to us?
so. What do you think? Are you trying to change her opinion, or what are you
Um,
trying to do here?
well, so I was hoping that I could get her to give some extra work to Yahui. It looks like
Sure.
that's
Well, no, that's a
uh
possibility. I mean, we
yeah.
would do hearts and minds if you want. Yeah, and they
Okay.
could. Yeah.
Yeah, I think like changing her mind. Yeah, I think like
Yeah.
having her see that there's actually more to be gained by showing our superiority over them rather than going straight to war.
Sure. What do you want to roll that with?
Let's see. So okay, so this is hearts and minds. I think, well, I might as well go with how passionate I feel about this. So I'll roll with fire. Yeah. So let's see here. All right. So that'll be +2. I got a 9. That's an 11.
Okay. So grudgingly, perhaps because they want to earn some favor. And still, I mean, their simmering resentment is a little bit hidden to you, but they will say, "Yeah, I hear your words. I hear your words. That is why you are in a superior position, because of your insight. I will make sure that the chancellor puts more requests in Master Yahui's uh, inbox, as it were."
Excellent thing. Excellent. You are superior to your current role, and I know you're going to rise very quickly.
Those words are most gracious coming from you.
Thank you, Feng.
Hang, what triggers this showdown? You're going to get, I think, +1 forward from all of the additional work that has been laid on Yahui during this.
Okay.
What is the sort of the breaking point? Where does this take place, do you think?
I think that these have been like as attention has been drawn to this conflict. These have been like at first it was kind of subtle. I was putting these places I knew that he frequented, but you know it's kind of moved, and there's enough. It's regular enough that people kind of know when it's going to happen, and he is Master Yahui is like unveiling his latest blow in the duel, and as he does it, I already have my counter move because I've anticipated what he's done.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, yeah, and then we'll see how that plays out depending on how the roll works.
So what element do you want to roll this social duel with? When you kind of he faces you, there are witnesses around, his temper has finally gotten him. He ought to just ignore someone like you because you're below his station in all this. He ought to be able to rise above it, but he is pressed. What is it you want to roll with?
Oh, this is definitely metal. I've been planning this in some ways for years.
Okay. So roll with metal and then take an additional +1 forward from Zamin's interactions there. And so we look at dual social. They are on your scale.
That I 7 + 3, 10.
10. On a 10+, narrate your brilliant approach or stratagem. You may undercut their position, destroy their support, bringing their plans to a halt, direct the wrath of a higher power against them, or force them to a physical duel.
Okay, so yeah, he loses value to his superiors. He because it's not only, it's clear that I completely, you know, not only did I defeat him, but I knew what move he was going to make ahead of time so well that I prepared my death blow in advance.
And that is the thing. I think that is that moment when he breaks down, when he, you know, when he's drawn his thing and then yours goes up with a flourish.
Yeah.
Already prepared. And people are like, oh, you know, and he takes his brush and he can't, he's blocked. He can't think of what to do next.
Yeah.
And he will look up and he will see that Chancellor Guijian, she is there watching this, watching his failure. And, you know, he opens his mouth to say something and she just turns. And everyone who is sort of on his side moves away from him, and rumors will begin to spread. Well, he's gotten so old. He just can't hold the brush like he used to. It takes a master to control themselves. If they cannot control themselves, can they control a brush? And you will definitely know that his days are numbered. It is only a matter of time before he is removed and you are placed in his position. Does that seem fair?
Sounds good.
I
make a gift of my scroll to one of the ways that this is played out is because Yahui is clearly in the kind of war faction.
Uh-huh.
And I'm kind of taking up the opposite position. But and so I'm gonna make a gift of the scroll to the Chancellor.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I think the Chancellor will take it and will note. I think that they will realize that you are not a person to be taken lightly.
All right.
For better or worse. Let's come back to Min. What are you up to now that you've heard this news? And you will start to hear these rumors of Master Yahui falling from grace, and that there's been a significant change there.
So I think I'm going to search out I'm going to search out two.
Okay.
Two has reached out to me in the past.
Yeah.
And I'm struggling a little bit, and I'm going to reach out as Min.
Okay. Two, where does Min find you?
I think Min finds me at a I don't know what the correct word would be for a bar, an inn,
tavern. Let's say tavern.
Where I'm listening to the words going on, but of course, publicly it looks like I'm just being raucous and silly. So.
And I think I come to you and I say, I come to you in a time of need. I'm very worried. As you know, my family depends on me and my work here. And Master Yahui has started to say things that that compromise my position with the regent and her heir. And I'm just very upset, and I could use someone to talk to about that.
And I suggest that we go up to a private room for our drinking, and then are you concerned for your safety?
I'm concerned for my family's safety, and we haven't spoken of this before, but my concern is that without my position at the court, I'm concerned that my family will be disgraced, and they will continue to struggle much more so. So I'm concerned for my position, but I'm also concerned for them. And I know I know that this has no, I don't mean to burden you with this. This has no bearing on you or anything like that. You've just spoken to me kindly in the past, and I wanted to, I needed a friend.
Well, you've come to a good friend. Your concerns, they stay with me. They leave. They go in these ears. They do not come out these lips. I'm concerned that you might feel that you'll be put into a position where you are ordered to do something that you don't want to do.
I think that is probably my place. It is not my place to decide what I want to do or not. But my concern is I do not want my tasks, my duties, to make it seem inappropriate for what I am doing.
So, two, do you think you're offering some comfort and support to Min?
Yeah, that's what I'm after.
Okay. What do you want to roll that with?
I love this element thing.
Me too.
I'm going to roll it with Earth, even though I don't get a bonus. That's
Okay.
for presence.
Yeah, makes sense.
I got an 8.
With that, they can accept your words and they can clear an element, or they can gain a bond with you.
So I think I'll accept the words and I'll clear an element. And you were expressing concern that I would be forced to do something I didn't want to do.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that I now understand that that isn't something I necessarily, that I have a choice, more of a choice in the matter. So, okay,
Good.
That sounds good.
Zemin. There will be a note and probably some gifts sent to you from Brother Wen. Just an indirect acknowledgement of your aid in the bringing down of a mouthpiece who was agitating for the war. Does that seem like a fair read of that?
Yeah, it does. Actually, I was thinking that I would make a I would even arrange to see Brother Wen myself and let Brother Wen know that I'd been seeing to to make sure that things were moving in this direction, and with the idea that he would I don't know, put in a that there would be some understanding of how much work I'd put in.
Yeah, I think that he will gift you with some influence, and he will say, "We were impressed with the work that you did. That you helped position young Master Hang in there. I know that the war faction reached out to Hang and tried to bring him in on their side, but he wrote a most striking letter declining that. So it was very, very good work on your part."
Thank you, Brother Wen. It is my intention to see that our court prospers, and I see that you had the strength of our land in your heart. So I'm glad that I was able to bring this to help you. There's
Yes.
There is something also that I'm wondering about, if this just now we have seen that Yahweh is Yahui is clearly very distracted and unable to fulfill his role here. So I wonder if perhaps in the future, when the martial uh, when the martial side of the court is requesting services, perhaps they could specifically request that other calligraphers, such as Hen, were asked to handle the more prestigious announcements. Don't you think that would be appropriate?
That seems both appropriate and wise.
Good. I'm glad that we are. I'm glad that we have a like mind, Brother Wen. It is an honor to be able to work with you.
We'll nod to you. I would like to hard frame a little scene here, and then I want to come back to Hang and Min. But I'd like to is it okay if I pull a 2 away from that scene, Min? Does that feel like that's finished, or do you need to follow up on that?
No, I think I'm good.
Okay. I think that Zemin 2, you will receive a note from your friend, Lady Shun. You said established earlier that the three of you are friends, that you actually,
Yep.
and she would like
Yes.
to meet with the two of you because she's very, very upset.
Oh, well, of course to meet with a friend.
And she will ask you two to meet her at one of the sort of the gazebos out in the garden, and she looks more frazzled than you've seen her. Just, I mean, you can see that emotions are roiling beneath her, and she will say, Lady Two, Master Zemin, I trust you're well.
Yes, I'm quite well. There's a lot of work, of course, but this is actually a very exciting time. Sometimes when riding on the knife's edge of such an important event, it stirs my blood, and I feel like I am more alive than ever. So it is. I'm doing very well. And how are you? You don't look. I'm sorry, but you look concerned. You look like a weight is on your shoulders.
There are people speaking against my husband in court, and I fear that there is maneuverings going on, that they have pushed things, and that my husband will be dismissed.
Oh, goodness. That would be horrible.
He is so well honored here. I'm sure he'll weather this. It's this must be very, very distressful for you. I'm sure, Shun. I would like to study
Okay.
Shun.
Yes.
So,
Get your study in before I make your inner conflict roll here.
okay. Let's see. Okay, so I think I will. Well, I think I will use my presence, my earth, to try and comfort Shen as I study her. So
Okay.
I'll get a +1. Wait. Oh, that's still only a 5.
That is still only a 5. Then I think she turns to you and she says, Zemin, I beg you, you must help me. You must find who has done this, who is behind this, who has maneuvered. Someone spoke to the chancellor and got them to put more work on my husband. I know that if we can find out who did that, then we will know who has acted against them. Will you help me? And let me have you roll inner conflict now. First,
Okay.
put a check in your earth.
All right. Let's see. Okay, so roll inner conflict. Let's see. I haven't done this in a while. Let's see.
Roll
When
with
you come,
anything except for your fire.
okay, can I read the move first? Let's see. When you
Yeah.
come face to face with emotional turmoil and pressure from an entanglement or personal issue, mark XP and roll anything except your style elements. Okay. All right. Keep yourself together. Flee the scene. Okay. All right. So let's see. All right. So not earth and not fire. So, well, I mean, I think this would take a lot of like awareness or flexibility. I think handling this well would take water. So
Okay.
I will roll with water, which
Absolutely.
that is a -1 for me. So let's see how that goes. Oh, well, with a -1, I still get a 7. All right, squeaked by.
So you can choose to mark your water and hold yourself steady, or you can flee.
Oh boy. Wow. I'm gonna hold myself steady. I will mark water.
Okay. 2, you definitely see. I mean, you've been around Zemin, so you can tell that this request upsets Zemin in a profound way, but they keep themselves together.
Well, we'll certainly do everything we can, Shun. Obviously, just the entire idea of it has left Zemin speechless, and he's such an eloquent man to begin with. Look at him. He's shocked to hear that this might happen to your husband.
It's true. Shun, you're jumping to conclusions. No. Look, this is a very challenging time. This is a very difficult time, but you mustn't jump to conclusions about what's going on here. Look, I'll look into it and see if I can discover any malfeasance from anyone, but I think this is just a difficult time, and I'm sure that Yahui will find a way to power through and return to his output that he was capable of before.
I will hope so. My fate is in your hands. I mean, perhaps it is as you say, and there is no conspiracy, but you'll help me. Thank you, both of you. And she reaches out. She puts her hands on both of your hands.
Yes.
You've come to the right people.
We will always have you first in our heart, Shun.
Thank you. Let me cut away from that scene. Master Hang, you are summoned before the Empress.
All right.
You will go. There are a few courtiers there. You notice that Master Yuhui is absent from this gathering, but you will see that Chancellor Guijian is there. She is talking with the Empress. You'll see some of the others are there, and the Empress Regent will gesture them away, and she will say, Master Heng, is it?
Yes, it's an honor to know that you are aware of my humble self.
It's been difficult in this past few weeks to not be aware of you in the palace.
I can only speak what's in my heart.
Yes. Well, what I need from you is to take on a project that I don't trust to Master Yahui this time. A calligraphy, a copy of one of the great old poems done with some of the regional stylings of our guests from Zinnia. I wish to present that as a gift in a few days.
Does your Eminence wish me to select the poem, or do you have one in mind?
Oh, I have one in mind. I've chosen it very carefully. You do not need to think on these things. I merely need you to provide the brushstrokes. Will you undertake this task?
Yes, I am honored to be given such a responsibility.
Good. Well, the Chancellor will explain the details to you. I hope that you perform adequately.
As do I, Your Eminence.
Min, let's come back to you. What are you thinking here in this twilight of this session?
I'm not certain. I'm still wanting to make sure that the warlike faction, I think that the only person in our court that I know of who was, eager for war, has found disfavor and is out of power. But I don't know about the other side.
Do you want to?
I've got a good idea.
Okay.
Well, go ahead.
You say what you're going to say.
What I was going to say was, I'm going to search out Ni, and I'm going to confront her with the knowledge of the assassin that I saw. But I'm going to approach her as Min and tell her.
Oh, we spoke before. Yes, at the party.
Yes, and I'm very sorry to be rude, but your visage is familiar to me.
Familiar how?
I believe I have seen one of your family.
Really? One of my sisters?
Oh. You had a sister.
I have two sisters.
There were, not too long ago, several nights ago, there were two people who broke in and tried to kill some of our court. One escaped. One did not. I saw her die. I saw her body. And this is what made me recognize your familiar face.
Are you saying my sister is dead?
I have seen. Yes, I am. I have seen the body of your sister. Why would she come to kill us?
She wouldn't. I don't know why you would even say such a thing.
Are you saying that I speak not the truth?
I'm saying you must be mistaken.
I wish that it were so. But there's little I can do about this at this point.
I must go and speak to my delegation.
Where's your other sister now?
I do not know.
Maybe it is not safe for you and your delegation.
I must go. This is a matter of my own people. Do you want to try and convince her not to go?
Yes.
What do you want to roll hearts and minds with?
So it'd be hearts and minds, and that's the convince move.
Yeah.
Great. Let's see. Well, probably water for flexibility.
Okay.
So let's see what that looks like. Oh. So I rolled a 6 plus 2 makes it an 8.
Okay. So I think she is freaking out. I think you will gain a bond with her, but she will go run back to try and find out what people among her faction know.
Okay.
Into the lion's den, as it were. We're almost out of time. But I want to give Zemin a chance, since Walter, you came in here for this single session. I want to give you a chance to epilogue or say what you do or what where you think you go from here.
Yeah. So I think Zemin is feeling very clever and very proud of himself. I think Zemin's plan is to look for someone who might have set up Yahui, but not find them, but use that as a further pretense to talk to Lady Shun and reassure her.
Excellent. Your guilt goes away quickly.
Yes.
Excellent. That seems fair. I'd like to stop here then. Thank you very much, Walter, for coming in and rolling with this so well.
Thank you. It's a lot of fun.
Scott for joining us, and despite the Novocaine. Did. And Hang. Oh, good job. Good job crushing your foe. Brilliantly done. And Min, I enjoyed that. And I look forward to all of the landmines that are now set for you as we go forward. I'm going to stop the recording at this point.